What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you guys 3 different ways on how you can grow out the Instagram page for your store. So if you guys have been following me, you guys know that my big brand has just over 100,000 Instagram followers, and I pretty much grew that brand out in right around 6 months to about 100,000 followers. What I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to grow out an Instagram page on like a miniature scale, on like, I guess like a sort of intermediate scale, and a very advanced scale. So let's start out with the basic version pretty much. This one doesn't require tons and tons of work. I will probably hop into my phone in a minute and show you guys like examples of the basic work with the test store that I've been using, Lucidity, for this page, the Halloween one. Probably gonna jump in my phone and show you guys that one. With that, it pretty much requires a few things before you actually get started with. And again, I'm gonna show you guys all of this inside of my phone, but you have to start with unique content. The whole purpose of this is to get eyes on your brand. And if your brand looks like everything else, then it doesn't matter how many people you bring to the page. If nobody cares, if everybody thinks, oh, I can find this somewhere else, then nobody will actually stay on your page. Another thing is that, I know I'm saying it has to be a brand, but it also has to be very branded. So it's like everything on your page has to serve a purpose to the brand's vision. So in a couple videos ago, I talked about the vision of the brand. Everything on that Instagram page has to serve towards the vision of that brand, because it helps with the retention rate of your followers. And then this basic strategy requires a lot of time. So when I first start doing a store, I usually start off with the strategy, and I will usually spend anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe 6 hours a day working out this strategy, because it requires tons and tons of time. Now, as a result, it can drive you tons and tons of traffic, which will result in lots of sales, but it does require a lot of time. So let's start off with the first criteria. It requires you to post 3 to 4 times a day, and preferably use hashtags. So typically, I don't want you guys to overcomplicate it, because I'm saying post 3 to 4 times a day, but it doesn't have to be like super spectacular, extremely high quality, all of these types of crazy photos. It can be photos that you found on Unsplash, which is a copyright-free website. It can be photos that have very little to do with the actual product that you're selling. It can be little memes that have to do with your niche, with the niche that your brand is in. It can be literally anything. This is like my favorite part, because it allows you to be extremely creative. So you can pretty much post as many times as you want. I preferably say 3 to 4. For me, that's been the most optimal, and it's pretty much gave me not too much of my time, but also gives me lots of results. So I usually say 3 to 4 times with hashtags. Usually with the hashtags, you don't have to overcomplicate it. Like if your brand, so like the Halloween brand, I would just Google Halloween hashtags, copy and paste them. Spooky hashtags, copy and paste them. Scary hashtags, copy and paste them. October hashtags, and then copy and paste those. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. What you're really looking to do is get the word out to as many people as you possibly can, and usually hashtags is a really good free way to do that. The very next thing that that you do for this strategy is that you comment on people's posts. So for example, my niche for the Lucidity page, the niche is kind of like Halloween or like spooky, scary types of things. So I would go to, like, let's say one of those conspiracy pages, and again, I'll show you guys all of this, and I'll like comment like, OMG, the Area 51 raid, they hiding invisible cloaks, or something like that. Obviously, it'll be a lot more thought out, but the whole plan of commenting is that you want to leave very thoughtful, insightful, or funny comments, so that people look and they actually read your comment and they laugh at it, or it gets them interested, and then they say, okay, well, what is this about? And then they look at your page, and then there you go, you just got another potential follower for something that probably took 30 seconds of your time, which later on that follower could convert into a customer, which again only took 30 seconds of your time. So that's where a lot of that strategy comes from. The classic unfollow method, I kind of added this one in here. I really don't use it, but it does still work. It's just, for me, I feel like it takes up more of my time and doesn't give me a lot of output. So you can just follow like 1,000 people, and then unfollow those 1,000 people. Like a lot of comments, comment on some of their posts like, oh wow, this is so cool, this is so amazing. I typically don't do it because it sort of looks like a bot, but I did want you guys to be aware of it in the event that you want to use it for your store and you have like some free time on you. The follow, unfollow, like for like, all of that stuff strategy, that stuff does still work. Not on the scale as much as it used to, but it does still work and it can give you some pretty cool results. Outside of that, DMing followers that look like they'll be into your brand. So let's say your brand is like athletic equipment, and you DM people who look like they're into fitness or working out. Just not necessarily selling, but just saying, hey, we started up a new store. If you would be interested in it, if you'd like to give us any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can send them jokes. You can literally be as creative as possible as you want to be with this, because it's pretty much all about the way that you engage with your customer. And the end result is that nobody knows your customer better than you. And this particular Instagram strategy, especially when it's done at scale, allows you to really, really, really get to know your customer. Alrighty, so this is for the free content strategy I was telling you guys about. In specific, like I said, I'm going to be using this brand as kind of like a test to show you guys how I like properly build out stores and everything. So just to start off, like in these few posts, I haven't really made very many on this page, but just in these few, you can get the idea of what I was saying when I was saying you want to make sure that your content is very, very branded and that people can't just find this type of content anywhere else. Now, I kind of got lucky. Like, these shots look really, really cool because this product was actually trending a couple years ago, and lots of photographers were buying the product and taking really, really cool photo shoots and stuff like this. So a lot of my content is honestly just me reposting it, the stuff that these people made a while back. But the way that it puts together actually looks good. So like, for example, all of the pictures on here, they're all dark. They're all like at nighttime with a dark background, and it's very, very deliberate because whenever you go to the website is like almost the exact same way, where everything is dark and it has that same type of like really professional photography feel, and all of it's right here. So that's like the exact same thing when I was saying, do you want to build up for free and give people that same type of feeling as they transition from your Instagram page onto your website? You want to make sure that whatever feeling you want people to have when they see your brand is true, like throughout the entire checkout process. So after you got that out of the way, what you really, really want to do is spend tons of time. And I will say I haven't been spending as much time on this brand as I should. But what I was saying was, whenever I post, and you will probably post a little bit more than I do, but pretty much you post, and like I said, don't overthink the compliments. Literally just Google them. And you want to post as many times as you possibly can because you want to reach as many people as you possibly can. And the more and more you post, the more and more people that you actually reach. Now, obviously, don't post like back-to-back 10 times in 5 minutes, but like you want to like constantly post every 3 or 4 hours throughout the day. So another thing that I was telling you about is, like, again, everything I'm about to teach you in this free strategy is supposed to give you exposure. So, for example, this is like a scary page that I follow. This is like one of the pictures they posted a while ago. You would probably want to comment like as soon as they post this picture, but this is something that you would want to do, like, OMG, what does this look like? My little brother. And sorry for the Android emojis, I'm on another phone. But this is pretty much what you would post. And essentially what that does is it gets eyes on your page. So like, people look at it, and even if their little brother doesn't look like that, they look at it, they start laughing, they say, you know, they probably like it, they might reply to it, and then they go here, they check out your page, and for like 10 seconds of your time, you just got more awareness from your brand. So that's one of the ways you can do it. And like, obviously you want to do this as much time as possible, as cross as many posts as possible. But I will like warn you guys, with this particular strategy, you don't want to seem like a bot. So you don't want to seem like, OMG, this picture is amazing, LOL, this is so cool. Like, whenever you do stuff like that, it actually goes against the awareness of your brand, and people just scroll right past it in the comments. Like, another thing is, like I was telling you guys, like the follow unfollow method. So I'm just gonna take a guess and say people who are into like this scary page are probably into Halloween too. So, like, for example, I'm sure you guys know about this, but I go to their followers, I follow everybody, they look like they would like this stuff, and then I unfollow them later on. Again, I don't really recommend this strategy. It doesn't work very well, but like, let's say if you have extra time on your hands, you can get lots more people to actually engage and look at your brand. And then the very last thing when it comes to this like follow unfollow strategy, or I'm sorry, with the free strategy, is like this right here. So that's supposed to say love, like right over here. It was a typo, but pretty much I mentioned somebody, and he was one of our first followers, and I was just like, hey, I think he liked like two photos off of one of the strategies I just showed you guys, and I said, hey, thanks for showing love to our page. Just like a simple thank you got him to go to the store. I'm pretty sure this guy checked out because they had the same last name, but they didn't have the same first name, so I'm just gonna assume that it was this guy, just because I messaged him and I was like, hey, thanks for checking out our store. I'm more than positive that he was like our first sale for this particular store. All I did was send him a message and say like, hey, thanks so much for following our page. This type of like, I guess, like little free tricks is like what you can do to get more exposure to your page. And it's all simple. It's very, very free. All it requires is time and a little bit of creativity. All right, now for the more intermediate strategy, this requires typically everything that I mentioned in like the basic strategy. So a lot of the time, we'll probably add anywhere from about 30 minutes to 2 hours work on top of the already Instagram branding that you're doing, depending on how hard you want to scale. So again, everything you mentioned previously, and then a budget of anywhere between $20 to $200 daily budget. Because this particular strategy has to do with Instagram influencers. Now, because we're talking about building a brand and not converting sales, the strategy will be a little bit different than what you're used to hearing. It's still a lot of the same fundamentals, so DMing probably about 100 Instagram pages a day, working out as many negotiations or doing whatever it is that you want to do to make everything fit within your budget. But where the strategy differs a little bit is that you don't create a very salesy ad. You create more of like a engaging ad. So it wouldn't be like the regular ads you see on Facebook where they're very, very hard sales and they're saying, look at this product, look at how cool it is, buy it right now. Instead, you're doing something of, think of it as a commercial, where it's like, instead of telling people to buy it right now, the main goal is to get people very, very interested in the brand. Then they say, okay, hey, like, what's this? He's selling LED masks, and then I position it in a way where like these aren't just regular masks. Like, I'm positioning and I'm showing off the lifestyle and how cool it will be for you and all of your friends one night to have these masks on and take some really, really dope pictures. So that's the style or the lifestyle that I'm selling in these ads, and the ads are meant to convert the people who see them into followers and not necessarily buyers, at least not immediately. Now, the whole point of this is to convert people into buyers, but not right now. It's kind of like, I say, like, if you're taking a girl out on a date, you're not going to try to hit it on the first night. You're going to try to, you know what I'm saying, buy her some flowers, take her out to eat, and then, you know what I'm saying, you're going to handle your business. But for right now, we trying to smooth and caress these potential buyers before we try to slide in. So that's pretty much how at least the intermediate strategy goes. I'm going to hop into my phone and explain a little bit to you a little bit more, show you guys what sort of like an engaging looking winning ad looks like. That was a pretty funny analogy, but I'll be back in just a second. Alright guys, so here is how you structure the intermediate strategy. Now, it's everything that I explained in the basic strategy, so still gonna produce like a little bit more time into the brand, but what you're gonna do is add like a budget. And I'm sure you guys know about this. All we're doing is like contacting Instagram influencers. So we're hitting them up saying, hey, how much do you charge? What are your rates? Usually I try to put emojis in there and let them know that that it's a business related. And you just want to hit up like as many pages as possible. Like you see all the pages that I hit up that were sort of in my niche. So like horror, scary pages, like pages with like the it thing on there, all types of unsettling facts. I even hit up a few really big meme pages that some people recommended to me who like to get tons of exposure on their particular post. So these are the type of people that you want to hit up to the point where you want to hit up. I would typically say you want to hit up, I think Instagram max you out, I think 20 people or 30 people or something in an hour, in a 3-hour span. I mean, so you probably want to do this at least 2 to 3 times a day, where you pretty much just max out the number of pages that you hit up. So that when you come back, let's say like 2-3 days from now, you have like, so sort of like I have, where I have like 10 or 15 different pages who have already submitted their rates, and all they're waiting for me to do is send them the money, and then they're ready to go. So that is like probably one of the best things to do. And as a matter of fact, after you get all of these pages wired up, or you can even do it while you're doing it, what you want to do is create a really good ad copy. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you want your ad not to be super salesy. You want to bring attention to your page. So a little something like this. So again, it's literally a 6-second video that took me probably about that same amount of time to actually put together. But what it does is, like, whenever a person sees this on, like, let's say their favorite meme page for scary stuff, they look at it, and the goal of it is not to be super salesy. The goal of it is for them to think we're still about a month out away from Halloween. We're not even in October yet, so people aren't really thinking about Halloween, but like in stores, they're setting up for Halloween. So it's like a pressing thing, but it's not too pressing. So people look at this and they say, oh, you know what, Halloween is right around the corner. And then in my ad copy, I say like, get ready for Halloween, and then I add my page, or I say something like with an ad copy that makes people extremely interested in my page. So whenever they go here, I get the chance to convert them into customers, but all of that happens only if my feed page looks good. So after I run people to my page, they click on the website. If they actually look at the product and say, oh, you know what, this is pretty cool, and then they go and they check it out, and then that's where they start through the whole funnel process, is through that Instagram page. So again, this one isn't very complicated strategy. It's really just a regular Instagram influencer strategy. The only difference is that you're not trying to hard sell people. At the very, I guess like the very least, what you're trying to do is convert them into followers, because the way this strategy works is if you convert these people who came from an ad into followers, you don't have to sell them today. You can sell them next week, you can sell them next month. All you have to do is post content that they like very consistently, allows them to start trusting your brand a whole lot more. And then instead of you paying like pretty much only for purchases, you are also paying for like the impressions of the followers that you get, and you get to retarget them for free. So that's how this strategy works. Again, it's not anything too crazy. You just have to really test out which are the most engaging, which one is like considered your winning ad. And again, the entire point is to drive awareness. Alright, so the very final phase of this whole Instagram branding one-on-one thing is the most advanced strategy, and this is the strategy that I actually used to generate my first successful store. How I generated 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, and how I pretty much grew the page to over 100,000 followers, which, if you guys know, for like, at the time we were still dropshipping. For a dropshipping store, 10,000 followers is a big deal, and 100,000 followers is like whoa. So the biggest thing was the unique content, the time that we had. By that time, I was doing a little bit of it, but we had like tons of VAs in place to do a lot of the aspects of like commenting on people's posts, responding to all the comments on your post, liking, following influencers, all of that good stuff. We had VAs to pretty much automate a lot of this stuff, so a lot more time was able to be spent on it, like on some like around the clock work. So the page was able to grow very organically. And then on top of that, we were probably using anywhere between 25 to about 200 influencers a day. And because of that, we got a lot, along with the organic exposure, we got a lot more paid exposure. And that's how we just really blew up the brand, to the point where we would like, I think our biggest week we did probably about 10,000 followers. Now you guys know how followers work. It fluctuates as far as your follower count, but the biggest week I think we grew about 10,000 followers. off pretty much using this method, and then we grew tens of thousands of dollars revenue. I don't remember exactly, but we grew like a lot of money in revenue pretty much off of using this strategy. Pretty much the strategies I just taught you guys, but everything is at scale. So your VAs are managing the basic strategy because it's not very hard to like do or learn, and then the intermediate strategy, you and your team or just you by yourself, you're handling that as well. So you're finding those deals, you're negotiating, maybe you have a VA do it, and you're rapidly scaling up all of this stuff. So finding several winning ads that work, putting them across multiple pages, and getting the word out to literally as many people as possible about your brand. That's pretty much my whole Instagram strategy, guys. Pretty much spilled the beans on everything. The more advanced strategy, I wish it was a little bit more advanced. Really, nothing about the strategy is very advanced, but it requires a lot of time and a lot of work, and you have to find very engaging ads along with very engaging content to put on your page for people to actually feel like they need to stay. Because overall, you want to feel like when people follow your page, you want them to feel like they're a part of a community. And that's pretty much how you do it, this whole really big strategy. If anything I left out, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me a DM or drop them down in the comments, anything that you guys had. But thank you guys so much for staying for this long for this video on my, I guess, in-depth Instagram influencer strategy, along with growing out your Instagram page and, of course, making those sales. So thank you guys, and take care.